Hello. So every step, every video we work on, we're coming steps closer to actually securing the application, which are going to be the last two sections of this course, at least for now. Then we're going to deploy to the cloud. So this is getting really exciting. So we worked on our project board. Looks really good. Again, you can do whatever you want with the colors. If you don't like my color choices, I like it. But again, that's why we have a trillion colors, because there are a trillion opinions. Anyway, so I do want to handle, before I go into update and delete, I do want to handle what happens whenever users try to navigate like this. As I mentioned before, and I really want to say this, whenever you have URLs like this, people are going to navigate, because people sometimes they don't want to take the long route. Like, okay, I want to go back to my dashboard, then back to the project board, then I want to see the other project again, so I don't want to go back to the dashboard. Like, I know that the other project is called Refact, so I want to go back to it right away. But again, as I mentioned in the last lecture, what happens when they make a mistake, and then they end up here, and then if a user is very, very busy and he or she is like, oh my god, the app broke because I put here my Refact thing. And sometimes it's easy to be oblivious of issues like this, right? And again, this is all user experience, right? The user wants to know that there's something wrong, that they did something wrong, and not that the app, because you know what this looks like? This looks like the app broke and the app's not working anymore. And at first glance, if you're not paying attention to the mistake you made, it just looks like that the app gave up on the user. And then the user's like, this app sucks, right? And it's not the app that made the mistake, right? But, again, you have to cater for things like this. And I'm not a UX designer. I'm not a UI developer. But, still it's basic. It's common sense in my humble opinion. So we're going to start taking care of that, and we're going to take care of that in their project board. Now, before we do that, let's understand what our API does when somebody tries to give it bad data. So if I go to Refact here, I don't remember if I set this up to handle uppercase, but if I do Refact here, yes, I set that up to handle uppercase and lowercase. I go back to Refact. If I want to go to test 1, which is the same use case as what we saw in the UI, I can do this, but what if I do Refact D? Then the server tells you this project with ID does not exist. And that's what the user needs to see, right? The user needs to know that, it doesn't exist, right? That you are putting there, you might be putting there the wrong information. At least that gives them a hint of what's going on before they get frustrated and start saying that the app, pardon my French, but stop saying that the app sucks, right? Which is unfortunately the first reaction, right? So for this, we're gonna write a little algorithm here. Nothing too fancy, just a little like algorithm, and I'm gonna call it. Actually, before we write the algorithm, before we do that, we need to actually get these type of errors whenever the user makes mistakes like that. Because right now, if I make a mistake like that, and if I go to my state, not even in the state you know what happened, right? Like, that there's a 400 error bad request, but not even in the state can you see what happens, and you need to actually get it from the state. Okay, so before we do anything, let's go and see how we're handling this in our action. Let's go back to our backlog actions when we're trying to get a backlog, and we haven't set that up just yet, so let's work on that. Okay, so basically all we need to do is literally copy and paste this. That's all we need to do. And once we do this, before we do anything else, let's make sure that we have it on our state so we have something to work with. And if I try again, because I'm stubborn, hey, at least now we know that it's a project, not found error, and it's saying, hey, this doesn't even exist, buddy. All right. That's all that's happening. And also this is going to come in handy because once we set up security, then you don't want people looking at each other's projects, and even if they try to force a route, it should also give them a similar error. Cool. All right. So now that we have that in the state, then we have to wire our project board to get stuff from the state. So we're gonna go to the very bottom of this, and you guys know the drill. We need to extract our errors from our state. Errors.state.errors. Cool. Then obviously we are going to use the errors object. Prop types dot object dot is required. Good. So let me make sure that everything here looks good. It does. Then we want to go all the way here, and I actually typed this a few lectures ago. We need a constructor so we can handle the errors, so we can handle the state of the errors object. So we're going to take a no argument constructor here. Always we have to put super, as I've been mentioning over and over again. And then we have to set the state of the errors object, which when we load, it's going to be empty. Right? We don't have any errors right now. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do is actually get or use component will receive props. Component will receive props, and at the time of this recording, I have it on good authority from somebody that knows React so good. I had a conversation with this gentleman, and he told me when he was looking at my code, this is gonna be decommissioned in 17. I have to actually read up on that. So if you're watching this in the future and I haven't updated this to React 17, then just keep that in mind. And I think a bunch of stuff is going to be decommissioned. It's still going to be available, but you're going to have to do some additional steps, take additional steps to use them. Anyway, if next props.errors, if we have errors in the next props, then this.setState, then we're going to fill up our errors object. So then we can actually extract those errors and use them. Next props.errors. Perfect. So with this in place, now we should be able to start writing our conditions here. So we're just gonna write that in our render method, okay, right under this. Okay, so we're gonna make some room here, and then the first thing that I want to write up is let board content, basically because we want to have a board content that's dynamic, and at some point we're gonna get rid of this here, and we're gonna put it in our conditions and how we're gonna load our board content. Okay, so I am going to create a little algorithm here, an arrow function here, and const board algorithm. Okay, am I typing that properly? I think so. This is gonna take two parameters. It's gonna take errors, and it's gonna take the project tasks. It's gonna take this list here. And by the way, and even before I make that mistake yet again, we need to also get that from our state here, okay? So we can have access to it within the render function. It's .state. Okay. We're gonna pass it the errors, and we're gonna pass it the project tasks. Okay. Now, what is the initial state of this of our project tasks list? Let's go back to our reducer and take a look. Refresh our memories. It's empty. The initial state is empty. Okay. So then we need to set conditions when it is empty. Okay. So if project tasks are empty, which is basically if the project task dot length is less than 1, okay, because it is an array, Then here we're going to set a few conditions. Okay, then if we have errors dot project not found, and let me just make sure that that's the right thing that we're having on our state, this right here. Actually, I'm just literally gonna copy and paste it. Errors not found. If we have this, then I am going to open this here and I'm going to return a div with a class name alert.alert danger dot text center. Why is it doing that? Okay, give me a second. Div.alert dash danger. Nice. Why is it not taking my emit? It is not taking my emit. That's really weird, div. That is actually weird. Give me a second there. It's not liking something. Arrow function. Sorry guys. I was like, wow. Of course it's not liking that. Let me save this. And then okay, div.alert danger text center. And it doesn't want, what am I doing wrong here? Let me just take a quick step back here, see what might be wrong here. Let me make sure that I have the right syntax, because it's not even wanting to work with me here. Okay, so basically I want to return. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is actually correct, JSX. I don't know why it's playing games with me, but I'm just gonna do it here. Let me see. Alert. Oh, I don't know why that's monkeying with me right now. But anyway, I am going to look the other way. Text center, and then the role of this one is on alert. Role alert. Again, this is Bootstrap. Then what we're gonna put here is whatever errors we get from the server. Errors project. Oh, I need the curly braces. I lost my concentration there for a second. Project not found. Okay. So basically, if there's a problem there, we're gonna say projects not found, and then else. And I really don't understand why I can't just wrap this with a return, because this is what I want to return, right? And let me just try that now. It doesn't have a problem with it. It just had a problem with me putting it there in the JSX, I guess. Anyway, then else, if the length is less than 1. Then I want to say div dot alert dash info text center. Yeah, and Bootstrap, folks. This is just Bootstrap. Role alert, and then I just want to say no project tasks on this board. Okay. All right. So those are whenever we have a project task array that is less than 1, If there are errors in the state, then we want to tell the person, we want to show the error from the server. If there are no errors, it's just that it's a brand new project and there are simply no tasks in this in here, right? And then here else, then we want to just return the backlog here. So the else here is just going to be to grab this from here. Okay, just I'm literally gonna cut it here, and then just else I'm going to return this here. Okay, and then at the very end, once the algorithm ends, which ends right here, then I'm gonna grab the board content, and then I'm gonna pass it the board algorithm. Let me see what the name that I gave it. Yeah, board algorithm. And I'm gonna pass it the errors that I grabbed from here, and then I'm gonna pass it also the project tasks. Okay, and then with that in place, then here at the under the HR, I should be able to put board content. Okay, and let me see, line 44. What is it that is not liking? Oh. Let me see. Yeah, it has to be surrounded by a return statement, obviously. And it's all good. Let's see if this works. All right, this is really good. So we're trying to pass bad data. Hey, this project doesn't exist, buddy. Let's just do the whole flow, okay? All right. So if we go here, everything works as usual. If we go to the other project that has everything works as usual, if we go and create a new project, test 2, test 3, test. If we create a new project and we go here, there are simply no tasks on this project. But then if I make a mistake and I want to put project 1, but then somebody distracted me and I put project 11, this project doesn't even exist. And this is really good. This is good user experience, in my opinion. And again, all we did was to write that little algorithm there. You know, this is actually a little algorithm. If you look at it, it's somewhat complex. One thing that I would have loved to do is to actually extract this and actually just import it. Like, imagine getting all this code out of here and then just literally importing it and using it here. It will look so clean, right? So I'm not gonna do that in this iteration. I'm just gonna leave it like this. But that'll be a good challenge for you if you want to do some refactoring on your own. Look at extracting this, putting it in a different module, importing it, and then using it. Okay. I might do it later, but not in this iteration. Okay, not before we deploy this to Heroku the first time. Okay. This is right now within the scope of this course, and this is working. Thank you.